Hey guys, welcome back to DCS World. I'm Spudknocker, as always. And today we've got some really great news from RAZBAM. They have officially stated a release date for the MiG-19P, and that is this Friday, March 1st, 2019. So that's super exciting that you guys will finally get your hands on the very fun little MiG-19. I have certainly been surprised, very pleasantly surprised, about how much fun this little jet is. It's a lot like the F5, but even simpler avionics in most respects. So today we're going to take a look at Mission 2 for the upcoming MiG-19P campaign from Baltic Dragon. You guys are 100% responsible for there even being a MiG-19 campaign, with your outpouring of support in the comments section of my last MiG-19P mission video. Your guys' comments and show of support showed RAZBAM and Baltic Dragon that there was in fact a market for a MiG-19 campaign, and Baltic Dragon has since been hard at work throwing together a story and a series of missions for us here. So now that we have a full campaign, we have a more in-depth story to go with it. Over the New Year holiday, some separatists in the Tbilisi area of the Soviet Republic of Georgia staged an attempted coup against the Soviet government in Georgia. They successfully took over Vaziani Air Base, but we don't know exactly how much of Tbilisi they've taken over, or how much of the whole Soviet Republic of Georgia they've taken over. Unfortunately, communications with the geographical area of Georgia have been cut, as some separatists have taken over the communications relay stations that go through the Caucasus Mountains. So we're going to do our best to use the RDF beacons that are out there. They may even be under the control of separatist factions, but hopefully they're still transmitting and will allow us to navigate our way into Georgia. The first mission we flew, we actually broke the mission. Baltic Dragon wanted the weather to be so terrible that the reconnaissance flight we were flying would have to turn back and not be able to perform any reconnaissance over the Tbilisi area. So today we're flying a second reconnaissance mission now that the weather has broken. Our objective here is to reconnoiter the Tbilisi area, take a look at Vaziani Air Base, see how many aircraft are on the ramp, see if there's any fighting going on between loyalist and separatist forces, and ascertain whether or not the brand new S-75 Divina or SA-2 guideline SAM sites are in fact in separatist or loyalist hands. So I guess the way we're going to find that out is if they shoot at us or not. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and step in the cockpit and get started. Alrighty, so as usual, let's go ahead and shed a little light on the subject. That always helps. Cockpit textures look really, really nice. The guys over at RAZBAM have let me know that the texture art flows and the 3D model art flows and things like that that are used here on the MiG-19 are their test beds for later projects like the F-15E Strike Eagle. And I want to say that I'm very thankful to RAZBAM for letting me do some videos on the MiG-19. I feel very fortunate to have been asked, and very fortunate to have put out the first public video of the MiG-19. And I hope that I can work with them on future projects, especially the F-15, because man, that is my favorite airplane of all time, and I can't wait to have that here in DCS. So, a few little things here. I've gotten a few comments and stuff wondering about the gun sight of the MiG-19. It is in fact offset to the left just a little bit. I'm not skewed to the right in my chair. My track IR is centered, so that is just simply the fact that it is skewed to the left. Now it doesn't really block your sight picture or anything like that. If you wanted to lean left a little bit, you could, I guess, but you really don't need to. And some evidence of the fact that it is offset is we look at the top of the stick here. It kind of lines up with the right-hand side of the gun sight. I guess that's analogous to how the gun sight on like a BF-109 is offset. However, I think that gun sight is actually offset to the right-hand side. Something else that I've changed is I've mapped to my HOTAS buttons to change the weapon select knob The reason for that is if you got a bandit coming around on your 6 or something like that, and now you're pulling lots and lots of Gs, and you're unable to fire a K-13 missile as a result because it has a 2G limit on it for launch, and you need to switch up to guns, it's really, really bad idea to, you know, look all the way back, use your mouse, and click right here, you know, to bring it up into your cannons. Because then you'll lose sight of that bandit, and you'll lose the fight as a result. So I know that I thought that was a little bit of a cheat before, but it's the closest thing we can get to an actual MiG-19 pilot simply taking his hand off the throttle, finding the knob, and placing it into the correct position. Because a real MiG-19 pilot will have done blind cockpit drills and whatnot. It's very easy to find that knob by muscle memory and simply flip it into the right position. Without even looking, you can know which position it is in because the missile position growls, just like any Sidewinder or heat-seeking missile would. One click up is guns, another click is bombs, and another click is rockets. So we'll bring it back to guns, and we have it in guns. Perfect, so you just have to concentrate on that and just know how far away from the missile tone you are. So we'll go ahead and bring the radar altimeter up a little bit, and why don't we go ahead and set our RDF beacon to the correct beacon before we get started here. Alright, so 520 megahertz. Put it into the compass mode. I don't think that's right, so put it back into antenna mode, and we'll redo this guy. There we go, into compass mode. There we go, now we got the right RDF beacon. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and taxi on out. Push the throttle up. Tap the brakes gently. Very, very easy to get going too fast, especially with the long spool-up time of the RD9 turbofan engines.
6. Ассистент. Разрешаю руление на полосу 2-6.
Very, very nice that I am now back in the United States and have access to my rudder pedals again. No longer have to twist the stick around. So we'll make sure we stay on the center line here. I guess we'll turn on some lights. And we can see now we have a little bit more light in the cockpit, just how nice the textures are. Do keep in mind though that everything you see here is still a work in progress. Even though we have a release date this week, things can still change. So just keep that in mind as we watch the video here. Now we are an aerobatic demonstration team based here at Mozdok, and we're the closest aviation regiment to the Soviet Republic of Georgia, so we are thrown into the mess of this separatist action, even though we are technically not a combat unit. So our red aircraft may be a slight disadvantage in BFM due to our being easily recognizable and highly visible due to our red paint on the top sides of our aircraft. Doing an okay job with our taxi here. Not perfect. I guess then again, thinking about the red skin, it can't be any worse than a bright aluminum skin on the aircraft, as it would just throw just as much glint as our glossy red paint job here. Might even benefit us in BFM so we can visually identify friendlies a little bit better. She likes to pull to the left a bit during taxi. So we'll bring her on to the active runway 26 here at Mozdok. Ooh, geez, got going way too fast there. But we got right on the center line, so that's pretty good, I guess.
Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме на 300 по давлению. 710,66.
Alright, just gonna adjust my rudder pedals a little bit. Let's go ahead and put some takeoff flaps. A little bit of nose up trim. Look around the cockpit, just make sure we're good to go. We've got our navigation set up. Alright, I think we're good to go. Just do a quick control wipe. Got our rudder pedals adjusted. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and push it. Punch it, I mean. So you can really see how long it takes to spool up on these engines. Dancing on the rudder pedals and our brake lever. Whew. And we'll leap right off the ground. And we'll bring our flaps up. Pull it out of burner as quickly as we can. Gonna want to be conserving fuel as much as possible for this long flight out to Tbilisi. I'm going to push radio button 2 for communications with our GCI. And let's go ahead and take a look at our map on our kneeboard. So we'll make a 90-degree turn towards our RDF beacon on the other side of the Caucasus Mountains. So we're going to go ahead and look for about 5,000 meters in altitude. One thing that's interesting, and is a cool little detail that RAZBAM, sorry, I keep doing that, implemented, is when you roll the aircraft, the RDF needle on our compass actually fluctuates. And this is due to the fact that the position of the antennas that are receiving that RDF frequency are moving, and thus it skews the needle on our compass here. This becomes much, much more prominent the closer we get to that RDF beacon. So as a result, making fine-tuned corrections to make sure you overfly that beacon directly can be a bit challenging. That's a pretty picture, isn't it? There come our wingmen. It's very cool being a part of the testing and showing off process of the MiG-19 because every time I flew her, there was something new and something really cool added to the jet. It's just something that's a small little piece of it, but it's very, very cool looking, is the intake. You can see the nose cone on the inside of the intake. The windswept, really windswept areas at the very tip are very shiny and reflective, showing off the horizon around it, whereas the more protected areas to the inside are kind of a bit more muddy and not nearly as reflective. Very, very cool looking. Oh, looks like we're marking now, so that should be about 5,000 meters. So I think that's a little under 5,000. So since we're joined up and we're marking anyway, why don't we go ahead and turn off our lights. Looks like we're gonna fly right through this cloud, just so that we don't have our lights on in case we engage in a dogfight. Let's go ahead and turn our sight on. So I guess we gotta make it look good since we're an airshow team flying over into combat. But in order to get these guys to conserve a little fuel, let's go ahead and have them spread out a bit. That was cool. We're about 6,000 meters now, so we're a bit high, but we're flying over these high mountains anyway. Make a little bit of correction left for line up to our RDF beacon. Let's take a look at the map. Alright, so it looks like our flight plan is pretty simple. We got our RDF beacon that we're flying towards right now. And then waypoint 3 is recon over Vaziani Air Base. That seems pretty straightforward. And then return to NDB 520, it looks like. And then waypoint 5 is just simply contacting Mosdock on the way home. Whoops, didn't mean to pause it there. Alright, so that should be pretty straightforward. So we'll definitely make sure we keep 520 megahertz on our RDF system. So a lot of people in my videos comment or PM me on Discord or even the ED forums asking how I get DCS to look so nice. And that's a multifaceted answer to that question. The biggest thing you can do is don't fly at 12 noon. 12 noon, wow, that is just really pretty. Mountains look really, really nice. Very cool. The flying at 12 noon gives you no shadows. The sun directly overhead, everything looks flat and muddled, and just there's no saturation to the colors. And this is true in real life too. So if you fly over Nevada in a 737 flying to Las Vegas or something like that, and it's at 12 noon and you look down, the mountains are going to look minuscule. They're going to look super small. Everything's going to look a flat tone. No saturation to any colors. Nothing will have any depth on the ground. But if you fly that same route at, closer to dawn or dusk, you're going to get longer shadows. You're going to get relief to the terrain like we're getting now. So why don't we go ahead and turn that flashlight off. Things are going to look a lot more interesting. And that's very, very true for DCS World as well. If you like cool colors like we have now, a very cool color palette, fly closer to dawn. You'll get this nice blue shade to your shadows, to the mist out here, things like that. very bright yellow rather than reds for the sun and the horizon underneath the sun. Very pretty colors. If you're more into... It's a nice mountain peak. If you're more into warmer colors, you want oranges and reds and pinks in your color palette for your mission, fly closer to sunset, and you'll get that red, pinkish, orange sunset. You'll get that red reflected on the mist in the air, in your shadows, things like that. That'll give everything a really nice look. Mountains will look taller, valleys will look lower, deeper, I guess would be the right word. All these kinds of things. So if you make your own missions, things like that, just make sure you're not flying at 12 noon, which is the stock time that missions are made at. Looks like we're clearing that little bit of a cloud front back there. We're definitely marking, so everyone and his brother can see us flying into Georgia here. So let's go ahead and fence in, since we just crossed the border. Make sure our guns are ready to go and armed. Alrighty, our guns are armed. Gotta retrim her out a little bit. Let's get our radar ready to go. Radar systems are looking good.
Аметист 4-му и 6-му. Разрешено атаковать вражеские самолеты. Ожидайте указаний. 6-й принял. Атакую. 4-й принял. Атаковать самолеты противника.
The skin is growing on me. I really like the red top sides of our jet here. It shouts, killing the separatists today, flying at Kudbinka Air Show tomorrow. I have seen this color scheme on a lot of archival footage of MiG-19s, especially in the Discovery Channel series of documentaries called Wings of the Red Star. But I haven't been able to find much documentation about MiG-19s used by aerobatic demonstration teams in the Soviet Union. Just seen pictures and archival footage of the paint scheme. So it'd be very cool if someone could put a link in the video describing or giving some information about this color scheme and early Soviet aerobatics teams.
Самолеты врага разворачиваются. Преследуйте их.
Alrighty.
6-й принял. 4-й принял. 4-й. Заняли строй, готовы к работе.
Okay, looks like the 4th is pushed up with us. There they are. So I guess we can increase our speed a little bit. So it's unknown whether or not loyalists or separatists are in control of air bases like Sanaki Kolki out here in the Georgian Valley.
Аметист 4-му и 6-му. Инструкция. Поднимайтесь на 10 тысяч и следуйте на маяк в охране 520 килогерц. Один самолет сепаратистов в воздухе. Приказ атаковать и уничтожить. После этого 4-й остается над Горей. 6-й следует на Вазиани и патрулирует. 4-й. Задание принял. Атаковать противника, а затем занять позицию в районе Гори.
Okay.
6-й принял. Атаковать противника и следовать Вазиани для разведки.
So it's unknown whether or not we'll have any ANITs coming up at us from the right-hand side, or if these are loyalist air bases. But we definitely know there will be bad guys out here to our left, out by Tbilisi.
Дистанция не меняется. 6-й, 1-й. Обнаружена цель. 094. Удаление 70 на 6000. Дистанция не меняется.
Kind of a fun fact, Tbilisi was the only city in the early 1960s in a Soviet republic that was defended by SA-2 guidelines. Tbilisi was considered such a valuable strategic asset that SA-2 guidelines sites were in fact placed around the city. Alright, guns are good to go. Make sure our missiles are good to go. Should be overflying our beacon pretty shortly here. Alright, there goes the 4th into their orbit. Let's go ahead and uncage our gun sight. Alright, so we've overflown our beacon. So we can see our needle has flipped. And we can use the landmarks to guide us out to Tbilisi here. And we can start to see the runways of the airports around Tbilisi as well. Those bandits out there? 120. Alright, they should be in front of us. No, I think those are our friendlies. Let's offset a little bit so we don't have our big fat nose blocking any visual on an SA-2 launch. Looks like there's a dogfight going on over there, so let's go ahead and come left and help the 4th engage these guys. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of our drop tanks. Alright, so we're a heck of a lot lighter now. Oh, there's 2 bandits. Flight, engage. Bandits. Looks like 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. SAM launches. Yeehaw. Okay. I'm not super worried about the SA-2s, just because they don't maneuver very well. And we're going to be pulling hard in a dogfight here, so... No visual on any SA-2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Extend 20 kilometers north, roger. Tail is clear. Fox 2. Fox 2 again. Alright, break off that attack. Did we get one? Yep, looks like we did get one. Nice. So we're gonna go ahead and extend north.
Удаление 40 на 4000. Дистанция не меняется. Обнаружена цель. 0. Наблюдаем воздушную цель.
Looks like there's another dogfight going on out there.
Обнаружена цель. 075. Удаление 7 на 5000. Дистанция не меняется.
Прикрой меня.
На 5000. Дистанция не меняется.
Облучение Земли 7 часов. Второй. Работаю по объектам ППО. Четвертый. Наблюдаю воздушную цель. 9 часов.
So looks like those guys are bugging out. But we still got some bandits out here to take care of. Right, rage. Bandits.
Атакую воздушные цели.
Guns are good to go. Guns are selected.
Четвертый. Работаю по воздушной цели.
Возвращайтесь на базу.
Return to base, return to base. Okay.
Возвращаемся на базу.
We can't really return to base if we're engaged with a bunch of guys, so let's see if we can down some of these guys and then we'll go ahead and bug out.
Работаю по воздушной цели.
Обнаружена цель. 026. Удаление.
Третий. Выполняю
I really wish I had more missiles.
024. Удаление 7 на 76. Дистанция не меняется.
Выполняю бронированный
40 на 2006. Дистанция не меняется. Обнаружена цель. 026. Удаление 3 на 7006. Дистанция не меняется.
10 часов. Третий. Работаю по воздушной цели. Третий. Выполняю бронированный маневр.
Ah, damn it.
12 часов.
Way overshot him. Man, they fly slow, huh?
8 часов.
Let's see if we can get back into them.
Третий. Выполняю бронированный маневр. Третий. Работаю по воздушной цели.
Wow.
Второй. Работаю по воздушной цели.
Цель 148. Удаление 45 на 500. Дистанция не меняется.
Hit him. Damn it. There we go. Wow, I guess I need some aerial gunnery work.
Обнаружена цель 149. Удаление 4 ракеты.
Oh, that didn't even down him.
Третий. Пуск ракеты. Работаю по воздушной цели. Работаю по воздушной цели.
Okay, looks like they are re-engaging.
Работаю по воздушной
Oh,
цели.
looks like one of our missiles missed that guy.
Третий. Работаю по воздушной цели.
How are we doing on gas? Looks like we're okay on gas. They're still engaging us, so it's hard for us to really disengage. Are they flying away? Yeah, they're flying away.
Четвертый. Работаю по воздушной цели.
Alright, so I think we can go ahead and disengage at this point. Let's go ahead and fly back on towards our RDF beacon. And you can see the needle really fluctuates based on our roll.
Работаю по воздушной цели.
Okay. Flight F7.
Двину. Возврат в строй.
So I'm probably going to be in trouble when I land for not listing the GCI right away, but at least we're not coming home empty-handed. At least I shot down at least 2 of them. Did shoot down 2 of them. Not sure about my wingmen though, if they got any. this guy flipped, so we'll go ahead and head on back home. Fly towards this mountain pass over here.
Шестой, первый. Обнаружена новая цель. 1, 2, 9. Удаление 70. А-500. Дистанция не меняется.
I guess we can use that RDF beacon and use a reciprocal heading on that RDF to get back home. Sounds like a good idea. So once we keep flying straight here for a little bit more, and then we can put that needle down at our 6 o'clock position, and then we can fly that reciprocal back home. Do we have a beacon? I don't think we do have a beacon to get home. It's alright. Alright. I guess our radar is kaput, so we'll go ahead and turn him off. May have overstressed him with some G's. There are definitely some contrails behind us, but we've outrun them. Alrighty. Guess there's nothing we can really do here in the cockpit. We're just flying on home. Alright, so I think we can go ahead and put the RDF beacon at our 6 o'clock and use its reciprocal to navigate home. And it is really difficult to dogfight against MiG-15s at this high altitude in a MiG-19. The speeds and the difference in the angle, the sweep of the wings of the two jets makes a massive difference. Their max sustained turn speed is almost our stall speed, basically. And so it was extremely easy to overshoot them. I've had to play this mission quite a few times in order to get good footage of it, simply because it is so challenging to fly the MiG-19 against a slower aircraft. A lot of times I'd end up overshooting those MiGs and then having to do, you know, kind of some S-turns to either try to get back behind them or simply just fall out of the sky in a stall trying to get behind one of them and a saddle there. Most of the kills I've gotten against MiG-15s have been a lot of snapshots, as well as just really well-timed missile shots. These K-13s are first-generation air-to-air missiles, of course, and so as a result they are not the most reliable missiles in the world, and they require very, very precise parameters. If you're pulling over 2 Gs the missile will not fire. You can pull the trigger as much as you want, and it is quite frustrating that the missile won't fire, even if you have, you know, a really great sight picture. If you're still pulling too hard, it won't fire. And then if you release those Gs, a lot of times you lose that really nice rear aspect on the target, and you miss the opportunity to fire the missile. So my tactics with flying these missions in testing for Baltic Dragon has mostly been stay up above the fight, don't get sucked into a turning fight with a MiG-15, because A, they'll either shoot you down, or B, you'll stall, you'll get yourself into a spin and you'll crash. So it's really important to keep a high energy state and just be an energy fighter. So I think we can fence out now, so we'll safe up all of our weapons. We still had some cannon ammunition left. Unfortunately, the AI in the MiG-15s can be quite frustrating, very much like flying a World War II mission, in that they have that super slow speed, but then they have unlimited energy to go into the vertical. So you'll be chasing a guy right at your stall speed, basically. He'll pull up into the vertical and just leave you behind as you stall and fall out of it. So we're getting close to point where we contact Mozdok for our landing. So why don't we go ahead and nose down. So I guess our wingmen are still trying to catch up with us.
Ассистент, 6-й, возврат.
6. Ассистент. Следуйте курсом 4. Удаление 8-0. Давление 7-1-0,6-6. Посадочный 2-6. Занимайте высоту круга.
Runway. Okay. So we certainly do not have anything close to resembling a fuel emergency on this mission. Heading 04 for pattern altitude, okay. Squiggly River should be out here somewhere.
Ассистент, 6-й, прибой.
6. Ассистент. Пилинг. Ваш прибой 3.
push the power up a little bit, gain a little bit of speed. Now that the sun's behind us, you can really see the nice cockpit textures. They look really nice. Okay, so our wingmen are catching up with us, so that's good. There they are. That's quite the squiggly contrail. So Muzdok's gonna be out here somewhere. Aircraft circling way up there. The city, there's the airport. Perfect. So, the fourth flight just broke off to allow sixth flight, which is us, to land. Shouldn't have too much of a crosswind today, but can always happen. Flight formation.
Порядок колонна.
Второй, прием.
So I don't know how Russians do pattern work. I don't know if they do an overhead brake or not. So we're just going to go ahead and do just a nice straight in approach. So we'll go ahead and put our flaps down. Put our gear down. Feeling a bit heavier now, so pulling the speed brakes. Getting into a little bit of turbulence down low. Nothing too bad. We'll go ahead and turn off our gun sight so that we don't break any of the gyros in there. Bring down our secondary combiner glass.
Ассистент, шестой. Разрешите посадку.
6. Ассистент. Посадку разрешаю. Посадочный 2-6. Ветер у земли 2-9-3. Скорость 1-0 метров в секунду.
So just a very slight crosswind. Gears down. Flaps are down. Probably a bit too high. MiG-19 is definitely not nearly as hard to land as the MiG-21. So we can see we've got a little bit of a crosswind. We'll kick in a little bit of left rudder. Left rudder. Out goes the drag chute. And we'll go ahead and start using our differential braking, and we'll go ahead and leave the active. You can tell this aircraft was truly designed for frontal aviation due to the... Whoa, got going way too fast there. Due to the very rugged nature of the landing gear. It's extremely short stopping distance with the drag chute deployed. Alright, so I think we're going to have to turn left down here to get down to our parking spot. She definitely likes to pull to one side or the other when you're taxiing. Try and keep her on the center line as best as we can. So if you've flown the F5 quite a bit, you should be pretty comfortable in the MiG-19 once you hop over. Same with the MiG-21. For people who have been flying the F-18 or the Harrier a ton, probably will need some getting used to the systems and whatnot in the MiG-19. And these campaign missions will definitely be a challenge for you. That's why we fly DCS, right? Because it's challenging. That's why I fly DCS anyway. Alright, so we'll go ahead and park next to this truck. So I believe what those MiG-15s were trying to do was suck us into an ambush with those SA-2s out there. I guess it didn't work as well as they had hoped, as I don't think we lost any jets. And that, my friends, is all she wrote. Big thanks once again to RAZBAM for allowing me to be part of the hype train for the MiG-19. And big thanks to Baltic Dragon for trusting me to show off his new campaign. And another huge thanks to you guys who watch my videos. Like I said earlier, it is all 100% your support that made a MiG-19 campaign even possible. So, give yourselves a pat on the back, and if you liked the video, please give me a like and a subscribe. I would certainly appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed the mission, and I hope you enjoy the MiG-19 when it comes to you later this week. Thanks a lot, guys, and fly safe.